Last week, I got the unique opportunity to drive two different McLaren cars. Big shout out to McLaren Dallas and Park Place dealerships here in Dallas, Texas. I also got to interview Tony, the president of McLaren USA. Now, to say that I wish I had more time with these cars, more cameras, more people to help me shoot the cars would be an understatement. Nonetheless, as you've already seen in the title, this video will be talking about the McLaren 720S. I'll have another video coming out shortly for the 570S Spider, which is the other one I drove that day. And again, another video with the full interview with Tony shortly after that. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First up, the McLaren 720S Super Series. This is basically the top-of-the-line race car for the road vehicle that McLaren builds outside of the P1. Walking up to just open the door, you immediately know this is a special vehicle. The exterior design is the pinnacle of form following function. It's a beautiful car, but every line and every opening of the body is there for a reason. You have air ducts in the headlights to funnel cool air to the engine. More air flows smoothly around the windshield into special channels in the doors. Looking at this car from the side, it looks sleek. It's not till you see a shot from above the car that you see all the inner workings of all that air funneling to the engine. In this car, that engine happens to be a 4-liter engine with twin scroll turbos and 16 injectors. This setup is good for 709 horsepower and 567 foot-pounds of torque, with a top speed of 212 miles per hour. That's a lot of power in general, but with a curb weight of just 3,128 pounds, its power-to-weight ratio is amazing. Putting that into perspective, the 717 horsepower Challenger Hellcat weighs 4,448 pounds. Even a C7 Corvette has a curb weight of over 3,500 pounds. Just a leisurely Monday morning drive in the McLaren 720S. Pretty bumpy road, but suspension is actually handling it really well. We're in comfort mode for the suspension, race mode for the powertrain. Unfortunately, I didn't get many opportunities to really open it up. Not to mention McLaren was trusting me with this almost $400,000 car. I didn't want to be that guy that needs to use the emergency contact card. The interior was something else altogether. It was very familiar, but also very different than most vehicles you'll drive. The gauge cluster behind the steering wheel is one large display that can be customized or customizes itself depending on your current setup. If you're interested in driving and all those readouts are just too much for you, too distracting for your driving, the whole thing can be folded down and another smaller display will be shown that shows you just the things that you need, like speed and RPMs. To your right is another iPad-like display for your navigation and infotainment system. I didn't get to spend much time with this as I was focused mostly on driving. Beside that display is a set of knobs to adjust your active settings. The top dial adjusts your handling from comfort, race or track. The lower dial is for power output. During my drive, I mostly kept the handling in comfort and power in race mode. This is a small, tight car, but I don't feel cramped in it. That's definitely a plus for this thing. My head fits really well, which I can't say the same thing about other supercars. All in all, the 720S is an amazing machine. It's comfortable to be in and comfortable to drive. I can't really compare this to much else. I have driven a Ferrari F430 Scuderia around a track, but this vehicle was much more comfortable and much more refined. I've also sat in a Lamborghini Gallardo, but could hardly fit in it and be comfortable. So again, at this point in my career, I don't have a lot to compare this vehicle to, but it was an amazing drive and it just is an amazing machine. Hopefully I'll get more time with these vehicles another day and even some time with their competitors at some point. All right, guys, well, I was super impressed with everything I got to drive here and everybody I got to talk to. Thank you to Park Place for allowing this to happen, and thank you to McLaren for trusting me with some of your cars. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you've got any questions. And as always, thanks for watching. Also, be sure to subscribe so you can check out those other two videos as soon as they hit.